Obviously, the title says it all, man. We're going to be debunking MH370 theories. We got top secret information, sticky note right here. Oh, you guys can't see it because I'm not on the right fucking thing. That's okay. We're not going to worry about it. But the biggest thing why I wanted to go over this today is because, so basically, I don't know if you know about the story. We're going to watch the video, so I'm not going to say anything. But when this happened, I was in like I think it was in grade 11. And I remember this all over the news and shit, bro. Like, it was fucked. And it's kind of just gone dark for like the last 7 years or so. I haven't really seen anything of it, even in the news. But I guess at the start of this year, the Malaysian government and Ocean Infinity like linked up to, I think they're gonna say it all in the video. I don't want to give away too much information. To basically renew the search for the plane. So I don't know, we'll see. But anyways, let's just get right into it, and then yeah, we'll just kind of react and come up with shit as we go along. But the one thing that I really want to so we're gonna put down a bunch of stuff. We need the list. So, oh, stop going back to the fucking top. What the fuck? All right, so that's what we're gonna start with for now.
After vanishing without a trace, Malaysia is.
Oh yeah, we're keeping notes. We're locked. We're debunking this shit, bro. Telling you.
This morning, Malaysia will allow an American company to carry out
a search for the wreckage of missing Malaysia Airlines flight MH370 has
The government is partnering with American marine robotics company Ocean Infinity for the second time, with a $70 million reward for any significant.
Malaysia to resume MH370 search with Ocean Infinity under so this is what I was just talking about with so they're under a deal. It says no fine, no fee deal.
Wreckage found.
Which is pretty crazy.
It's been more than 10 years since MH370 disappeared, along with 239 people on board, whose families are still waiting for answers.
I remember all of this, man. I remember like all over the news when people were freaking the fuck out in the airport because the company wasn't telling them where the plane was. They said it was delayed, and then it was like 12 hours later and the plane still hadn't shown up yet. And now it's 11 years later and the plane still hasn't shown up yet. How fucked is that, bro?
The new effort will focus
bro, that's fucked. Yeah, they didn't know because it wasn't on radar anymore. It was gone, bro.
The disappearance
That's fucked. The thing that blows my mind about this is that you have a fucking plane with 239 people on board with a huge board of like different electronics and trackers and different devices to keep an eye on this fucking thing, and they fucking lost it. That is insane to me.
And endless theories, making it nearly
pretty much, yeah,
impossible to discuss without delving into speculation, some of which we'll explore later in this video. But first,
this right here is what is weird to me.
Has been so impossible to find. Let's revisit what happened on the night of its disappearance.
Hardware malfunction that led to a crash. But what doesn't make sense though is the plane. It's it's where it is. It makes no sense. It literally makes no sense.
70 standby and Malaysian 6 is cleared to Frankfurt via Agosta Alpha departure, 6,000 feet squawk 2106.
On March 8, 2014, a Boeing 777 is preparing for departure at Kuala Lumpur International Airport. Malaysia Airlines Flight 370 is a daily passenger flight from Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, to Beijing, China.
See, like, look at the flight path. That's the flight path the plane was supposed to take.
Malaysian Airlines with over 18,000.
He has 18,000 fucking hours behind a plane. That is nuts.
First Officer Farik Abdul Hamid.
That's a lot of fucking time.
113 flight hours, 39 of which are on the Boeing 777.
I'm just gonna let the video play.
Also on board are 10 cabin crew members and 227 passengers. The aircraft was filled with 49,100 kilograms of fuel, providing a range of 7 hours and 31 minutes, more than enough to reach Beijing or divert to nearby airports if needed. The plane was also carrying...
Or was hijacked? See, this is where I don't think it was hijacked, because in the history of the world, in any planes, any hijacking, you hijack a plane because you want a ransom, you want money. Like, that's literally how it works. You don't just hijack a plane and then just do it for fun and ditch it. That doesn't make sense. No one would fucking do that unless you're a fucking meth head. But even meth heads don't have the brain cells to comprehend to come up with something like this. Like, this is very strategically played out, or this is the biggest fluke event that has ever fucking happened in anything, because like you just
Electronics
like
equipment, 4.5 tons of mangosteens,
it doesn't work like that.
and 221 kilograms of lithium-ion batteries. These batteries were packed according to safety regulations, but some experts have debated whether they could have played a role in the events leading
The only
to
thing
its
that makes sense, bro, is it's the pilot. Some pretty smart crackheads. I don't know about that, bro. Literally smoking crack makes you like.
Malaysian 370 is cleared to Beijing via P-Boss Alpha departure, 6,000 feet, squawk 2157.
There's really no argument there, bro. I don't even know how that's even a fucking discussion. It's like, what?
370, welcome over the ground.
But that doesn't even matter. I don't give a fuck about crackheads. It just doesn't make sense, bro. Like I'll put it all on my notes here, and you'll see what I mean. Oh, they definitely do. But like there's just so many things that don't make sense, dude. So like, I'm gonna jump ahead a little bit. The pilot had a simulator in his house that resembled the exact same flight path where the plane was pinged the last 7 times heading south. And then like, yeah, it doesn't make any fucking sense. This is them just going over the planes leaving.
Into the flight. E2 right. Flight 3, 42 minutes past midnight. Flight 370 is given clearance.
So kudos there.
Right. 25 minutes into the flight, MH370 sends its last ACARS message to Malaysian Airlines Operations Center while it's about to leave the Malaysian
Okay, so
peninsula.
this is where it gets a little bit fucked, and this is where I lean towards the pilot, because only he would know the lines of when air traffic control would pass Malaysian Airlines off to whoever and then whoever. Like, he knows the boundaries. Watch this.
This is a system
I'm telling you,
automatically
18,000
transmits engine
hours
data and
is a
other
lot
flight
of
information
fucking
to
time.
drones.
Like, there's people that have been playing Tarkov for 7 years and have fucking 12K hours. Like, I don't think people realize 18,000 hours
Less
is
than
a
an
lot
hour
of
into the
time.
flight,
Like,
the
this
plane is
guy
cruising
knew
over
this
the South
route
China
like the back
Sea
of his
at an
fucking
altitude
hand.
of
He probably
35,000.
flew this like 100,000
The night
times.
sky is clear and the weather is calm.
That's why it doesn't make sense. And like, I personally think this guy was forced to do this. I don't know. Something is on this plane. He was forced to fucking do this, bro. I swear to God.
Flight 370 is then instructed to signal air traffic control in Ho Chi Minh, Vietnam, as it approaches waypoint Egan.
See these lines? So these are all
As
the
it makes
different.
its way to
Look at
waypoint
this shit.
Bukod,
Watch what the plane does.
MH370 makes radio contact with Kuala Lumpur at 0119 and 30 seconds.
Malaysian 370, contact Ho Chi Minh 120.9, good night.
Malaysian 370.
That's the last
That's the
time
last
anyone would
time anybody
hear
ever
from
talked to him.
MH370. Less than 2 minutes after acknowledging the transmission, the aircraft suddenly vanishes from radar screens.
Gone. Right as it crosses that line.
This is when the mystery begins.
What the fuck?
The captain of
Right
another
as it crossed
aircraft
that line,
attempted to
gone.
contact the crew of Flight 370 at 0130 using the International Air Distress Frequency. However, the crew was not able to establish communication and heard only mumbling and static. All aircraft have a device called a transponder, which transmits information such as the plane's ID, location, and altitude to air traffic control.
Like all this shit.
ATC uses this information to track the aircraft, a radar system known as secondary
How does
radar.
all of this stuff get
If a plane
bypassed?
disappears from ATC screens, it means one of two things. Either there's a transponder malfunction, or it has been deliberately turned off. At this point, Malaysia stopped actively tracking MH370 after the handoff to Vietnamese airspace.
If it was this, I'm gonna stop it right here. We know that it was either turned off, or there was potentially a cockpit fire, or something happened. But if there was a cockpit fire or something happened, that plane would have kept going. Why would you turn this plane around right here? You are halfway. Why turn around? It's going to take you more fuel and more time to bank and turn around and go back to where you just came and get to the nearest airport on this side over here, when you can straight up just keep the plane going forward at however many thousand feet and continue to go over here to the mainland.
After 18 minutes of no communication, Vietnamese ATC contacted Malaysian ATC to ask about the plane, as it had not checked in after the handoff. By 03:30 a.m., Malaysia Airlines confirmed that MH370 was missing.
And we have breaking news right now. Malaysia Airlines confirms it has lost contact with a plane carrying 227
Walter for the
passengers.
latest breaking news regarding that Malaysian Airlines jet.
The morning after the plane's disappearance, search efforts were launched in the South China Sea, where the plane was last
Crash
seen
was good,
by
bro.
civilian radar. After an extensive search, no debris or survivors were found. At the time that the transponder stopped functioning, military radar tracked MH370
Right here.
turning back
Why in the fuck would you turn this plane around?
north.
That makes no
Military
sense.
radar
I'm telling you, right there, that makes no sense. Why turn this plane around when you just crossed international borders? If there's a fire on the plane, you don't turn it around. You keep going. This makes no sense.
MH370
Why?
turning back westward across the Malaysian peninsula, then heading north through the Strait of Malacca.
What?
At first, MH370's unusual U-turn
And then he
seemed
banks
like a
off left
response
over
to
to
an
fucking,
emergency,
like, that
with
makes
the
no
pilots
sense.
likely
If this
attempting to
was
head back to a
autopilot,
nearby
autopilot
airport
wouldn't be
or
fucking
through the
doing
Strait
that,
of
for
Malacca.
one. What the hell is this? And apparently this is the pilot's hometown or some shit in here.
At first, MH370's unusual U-turn seemed like a response to an emergency.
That, like, just look at what he's doing. He's gone out of
With the pilots
this
likely
zone over here on the right, then he's banked back into here, then he's cut across here. What he's doing is he's staying out of radar. Like, oh, 100%. 100% crash. He either parachuted or he went down with the plane. I personally think he was forced to do this. There's something on this plane, or there was people on this plane that nobody wanted to be kept alive.
attempting to head
Like,
back to a nearby
It,
airport
it,
for a
it just
safe
doesn't
landing.
make sense. With the
However,
guy
no
with his
distress call was
with his track record, his mental health, his family, I know he had some ties with like political stuff and all that crap, but like
ever
I personally don't
communicated
feel
from
like
the
that would
plane to
be-
ATC. The last known
don't
radar
know.
detection by Malaysian military radar was at 02:22 a.m. after passing
Like,
waypoint egress at an altitude of 29,500 feet. After disappearing for a second time, this time from Malaysian military radar, MH370 was still within range of several countries' military radar.
it's like still within range. So it's like it's just
However,
It's just
many
out of,
countries
like-
were hesitant to release
I don't know,
military
bro.
radar data due to concerns about revealing their capabilities.
I would have stayed on
India
track.
claimed-
Well, this right here is what my red flag is. Because if you're an actual pilot that's wanting to save everybody on board and, you know, do what your fucking job is, you would continue to fucking fly this plane and land anywhere in here that you possibly can. You wouldn't turn the plane around. That's fucking stupid. Unless there's like, I don't know, a storm or something. Like, you know what I mean? Like weather permitting, then I get it. But other than that, bro, like, You're in a fucking plane. Like,
claimed that their military
what the
radar in the Nicobar Islands was turned off during peace times. Indonesia's generators were low on fuel, which prevented the radar from functioning properly during the critical time when MH370 may have passed through the area.
Indonesia is using generators to power their fucking radar. And when this plane disappeared, the generators were off. What? What?
Over the next few
What?
days, the Strait of Malacca, the Bay of Bengal, and the
'Cause that's
northern
not a red
Andaman
flag,
Sea were
like-
scoured by aircraft and
Yeah,
vessels.
the one thing that we use to fucking watch our airspace and our waters to make sure we don't get invaded by who the fuck knows who is off. And this happens.
But there was no
All right,
trace
dude.
of MH370.
So what I would do here at this point in time, or what I would have done, is why was the radar turned off? Because that doesn't make sense. Yeah, it had to have been something. That doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense. Like, what I would like to know is when the last time that radar was turned off prior to that happening. Like, say if it was like 3 months, 6 months, a year. Yeah, that's a red flag. You start looking at some, like, it's what I don't understand. Why hasn't any of this been looked into? Like, what the fuck? I
Like
swear
all
they just
modern
don't give a
aircraft,
shit.
MH370 was equipped with a satellite communication terminal, or SATCOM, which is a system that allows aircraft to communicate via satellites instead of relying solely on ground-based radar and radio systems. It is essential for aircraft flying over oceans, remote areas, or regions without radar coverage. The SATCOM system.
The theory that I'm starting to come up with, cheers by the way, Crash, and anybody watching the video, I've seen a whole bunch of different theories. Now, obviously the pilot is the main one. Hijacked by passengers was one. I'll just put hijacked by passengers, wormhole, aliens. There was one more. It was pilot. Oh, shot down. And then there was another one where they like, somebody said that they were put in prison. Like they were, so hijacked by passengers, wormhole, aliens, shot down, all members are alive in prison. I'm trying to just think of other theories that people have thought of. Maybe we'll think of some as it gets through the video, but I know this is a majority of them.
Which connects the plane to an Inmarsat satellite orbiting 35,000 kilometers above Earth, logged onto the
Cheers again,
network
brother.
prior to departure. However, at some point when MH370 was flying over the Andaman Sea, the SATCOM system disconnected. 1 hour and 19 minutes later, the SATCOM link was successfully re-established. After reconnecting to the network, the aircraft's satellite data unit responded to hourly status requests from Inmarsat. for the
This
next
is
6
where
hours.
I don't understand.
During this period, 2 ground-to-aircraft calls were made at 2:39 a.m. and 7:13 a.m., but neither was answered. The final status request and aircraft response occurred at 8:10 a.m., approximately 1 hour and 40 minutes after MH370 was scheduled to land in Beijing. At 8:19 a.m.
So remember, the flight path was this plane was supposed to go north to here, around in here. It is now on the other side of the globe, like literally, like
The aircraft sent a log-on request, followed 8 seconds later by a log-on acknowledgement from the ground station, marking the last known transmission of MH370. At 9.
So they think that when, oh shit, my bad. They think when the plane did this last handshake right here, it was pretty much running out of fuel. So they think from basically this point, or even like around in here maybe, they think that the plane ran out of fuel and it just coasted. And then it crashed. But the thing that doesn't make sense is if the plane coasted with no fuel for that long, it would have slowed down. And for it to land on the water like that, it wouldn't explode. Maybe break apart into a couple big chunks, but the plane wouldn't explode. One, because there's no fucking fuel on the plane anymore. Obviously, there's still fumes in the tank, but like, you know what I mean? Like the explosion wouldn't be as like aggressive, because jet fuel is pretty flammable. See, this is where it doesn't make sense. So this is where my other theory comes into play. So people think that the pilot was either had like political ties, and they think that maybe he was like what's the word? They either think that the US government was like fucking with him and basically telling him to do this because there's people on the plane, or he's doing it like in a complete 360 or 180 where like it's like a political tie and he's wanting to like take the plane to the country or something. I don't know what the whole story is with that. Maybe we'll look into it after this, but I am starting to look at the pilot was paid to ditch this plane and kill himself because something's on the plane. That is the only thing that makes sense. That is the only fucking thing that makes sense.
At 8:19 a.m., the aircraft sent a log-on request, followed 8 seconds later by a log-on.
So for here on out, we're gonna cross out we're gonna cross out hijacked by terrorists because no one ever claimed it. No one ever claimed this plane was hijacked. So that doesn't make sense. I mean, personally, if I'm a terrorist and I'm on to do some crazy shit and get my name out there, bro. Are you fucking kidding me? Especially in this day and age? I mean, this was 10 some odd years ago, so. Alright, let's keep it going.
From the ground station, marking the last known transmission of MH370.
So, and then another thing why I think it's the pilot is because the pilot has 18,000 plus hours of flight time. The guy that he's with, his co-pilot, had like 2,300 hours. Now, again, for him to have 18,000 hours and to know those lines and to cross and do what he did when he did, and he had the simulator and he ran the sim 3 weeks prior, he knows what he is doing. So another thing that was also explained is the pilot's oxygen tanks were refilled prior to this flight, which usually doesn't happen very often. So what that means is when this plane was around in here, or like over here, the pilot depressurized the plane, pulling all oxygen out of the plane, killing everybody. And I'm pretty sure what he did was he got the co-pilot to get out of the cabin, locked him out of the cabin, depressurized it, killing the co-pilot and everybody on board, because the co-pilot's phone pinged a cell phone tower in Lemang, Malaysia or whatever at, I can't even, 2:30 a.m. or some shit. And it stayed on for like 3 seconds and then that was it. And the only way that would happen is if someone fucking tried to use that phone. That is the only way. So now, so the pilot has locked him out of the fucking the cockpit. He's off to everybody on the plane that's going to cause him a hassle, right? And potentially the people that are he's trying to depressurize the oxygen, knock everybody the fuck out. So to me, there's no way it was shot down based on where this is. Why the hell would you waste a missile on something this far away unless it came from Diego Garcia, which doesn't make sense. And there's no claims of any like explosions or anything like in the what the fuck is it called? The wavelengths or whatever the shit they use on the radios and crap that go throughout the air. Captain uses, and then the captain uses the oxygen tank while everything else is depressurized. Exactly. Now you're starting to get a crash. But he only has a certain amount of fuel and he only has a certain amount of oxygen in the tank. So that would probably last him all the way to here. And then either he ditched, he jumped, or he just died with the fucking plane and everything on board.
40 minutes after MH370
We're debunking MH370, chop.
At 8:19 a.m., the aircraft sent a log-on request, followed 8 seconds later by a log-on acknowledgement from the ground station, marking the last known transmission of MH370.
Do you remember, Chop? Do you remember when this fucking thing went down? Do you remember when this thing went missing?
9:15 a.m., Inmarsat sent another status request, but the aircraft did not respond, suggesting that the flight had...
Yeah, so right here. So the Inmarsat is basically like two electronic devices communicating back and forth with each other. No human being can be in contact between the two. They just they communicate. It sends like how much fuel the plane has, blah, blah, blah. And the last ping...
seconds later by a log-on
right here
from the ground
right here.
station, marking the last known transmission of MH370.
It didn't come back. MH370, search resumes.
Inmarsat.
Remember the plane that went missing in March 14th? Or March, I think it was March 14th, 2014 or some shit like that.
Sent another status request.
Or March 9th or something.
Did not
you don't
respond,
remember this? Oh my god.
That the flight had run out of fuel and crashed into the southern Indian Ocean. Following this,
the Malaysian flight. Yep.
Investigators turned to the satellite data to pinpoint the plane's final location. By examining the data from the automated satellite handshakes that continued for several hours.
So another thing that I would like to say is there's no way it was shot down or exploded because of the quote-unquote wreckage that they're finding on beaches in Africa. It's not destroyed, so that doesn't make sense. Yo, we should go on Google Earth or some shit and look at Diego Garcia and look at the map after this happened. We should do that. Aliens and wormhole. We're gonna keep those ones open for now.
Distance between the satellite and MH370 at the time of each handshake, based on how long it took the transmission to travel from the satellite.
Before I started to get into this, like I knew quite a bit about the story, but I didn't know all the back stuff, like the backstory with like how the pilot had like political ties and all that. So the last like 3 days, I've kind of been going a little nuts on this and just kind of watching videos as I edit some other shit. Because this shit really intrigues the fuck out of me because I watched this all happen in real time. We actually paid attention to it in class. And it's just really weird to see how this has unfolded 11 years later and they still haven't even found the fucking plane.
Using this information, experts generated 7 possible arcs of locations from which the handshakes could have originated.
So this is where it gets really insane.
Data analysis,
so they're basically just using like, there's so much electronic devices and satellites and shit on Earth now. They're using the pings off of the devices to the plane because it distorts the frequencies, and it can give them a not a direct path, but it can give them a somewhat of a path of where the plane went.
It was determined that the origin of flight MH370's last transmission was somewhere along the 7th arc in the southern Indian Ocean. As a result,
Holy.
the search efforts were moved to the area where the aircraft was believed to have crashed.
Dude, that is such
the
a
months
big
following
piece of
search-
land, bro.
That the origin of flight MH370's last transmission was somewhere along the
Look at that. That's the bottom of fucking Africa right there? Brother. That's Antarctica. That is Australia. This is fucking India. How much, like, dude, that is so... Oh my
arc in the
god,
southern
dude.
Indian Ocean. As a result, the search efforts were moved to the area where the aircraft was believed to have crashed. In the months following the disappearance, 19 vessels and 345 sorties by military aircraft searched an area covering over 4.6 million square kilometers. The final phase of the search involved a bathymetric survey and sonar search at the seafloor, about 1,800 kilometers southwest of Perth, Australia. Investigators also turned to underwater listening devices called hydrophones. Hydrophones have a range of over 1,000 kilometers under optimal conditions. An example of this is when the U.S. Navy's Sound Surveillance System network detected a large implosion near the wreck of the Titanic, despite being 1,450 kilometers away.
Holy. Yo, that's actually insane. That sound frequencies can travel through water like that? Holy fuck, dude. 1,000 kilometers away. Holy fuck.
This detection was key to helping narrow down the search for the remains of the Ocean Gate Titan submersible.
Yeah, that's
While
nuts.
sounds were detected during the time of the disappearance of MH370, the origin of the sound was not consistent with the final satellite transmission. Search efforts were also made to detect the plane's locator beacons, which are attached to the aircraft's flight data recorders. The batteries that power the locator beacon only have a lifespan of 30 to 40 days. A sonar search of the seafloor was carried out, but yielded no sign of Flight 370. Operators later concluded that the effort had little chance of success given the vast search area.
I kind of understand it now. Like, if you're able to cut off all communication, any sort of tracker or anything, like, it's not going to work because one, it's cut off, but like over time, the only way most trackers work is they have a battery or like some sort of power source, and it wouldn't survive down there if it is at the bottom of the fucking ocean.
In the following year, the search for Flight 370
It kind of
quickly
makes
became
sense.
the most expensive search operation in aviation history. Yet, no debris was ever found. It wasn't until July 2015, 16 months after the aircraft's disappearance, that a piece of debris was found. A group of people stumbled upon a large piece of debris covered in barnacles while cleaning a beach in Reunion Island. The piece was later identified as part of the aircraft's wing known as a flaperon. There was finally evidence that MH370 had crashed somewhere in the Indian Ocean.
There are new images this morning of debris that may have come from a missing Malaysia Airlines jet. The discovery was made on an island off the coast of Tanzania last month.
It's consistent with the Boeing 777, the same as the missing Malaysia jet.
Several more pieces were discovered on beaches in Southeast Africa. Some of these pieces of debris include a piece of the wing flap from MH370's right wing, a wing fragment, a section of the horizontal stabilizer, a piece of engine cowling, debris from the plane's flap track fairing, and a panel from one of the head monitors. That being said, only
That
3
is
of the more than 40
kinda
pieces
fucked.
were confirmed as originating from MH370. None of the pieces recovered ever showed signs of any fire or explosion. The underwater search for MH370 continued for years until it was suspended in early 2017. The decision was made by the governments of Malaysia, Australia, and China.
If the flap was gone, it had to have drifted. Yeah.
Covering 120,000 square kilometers of the southern Indian Ocean without finding any wreckage.
Yeah, I would have drifted for sure.
A private search was later conducted by
So
the
there's
U.S. company.
there's conspiracies that the debris was placed there. Like, man, I feel like people come up with anything nowadays, but it would be pretty simple to just look at the barnacle growth and figure out, you know, how long, you know, everything on the flapperon or whatever, you just, or like figure out the information on how long it's been on it, and then, like, I don't know, I feel like that
Ocean
wouldn't
Infinity
really
in
be that hard
2018
to figure
using
out.
advanced underwater drones. However, this search
I
also
guess,
ended
Crash.
in May 2018 without success.
I don't know, bro, it's kind of weird.
Malaysia has given its final approval to a new search for the missing flight MH370.
Well, after more than a decade, one of aviation's greatest mysteries could soon be solved with a new search commencing for MH370.
More than 10 years after the disappearance of MH370, the hunt for the missing flight looks like it will resume.
This
In
universe
early
is weird. Like I
2025
said, bro, I actually do think that there's things that there's things out there that we don't know and we can't comprehend, and that we probably can't even see with the human eye. I
The
truly
Malaysian
do
government
think that there
approved
is
a renewed search for MH370.
more to
new
this
effort
than
is
just
led once
what we
again
think.
by U.S. marine robotics company Ocean Infinity.
I might sound like I'm
The
fucking
search
crazy,
is set
but
to cover a 15,000 square kilometer area in the southern Indian Ocean, focusing on regions near the aircraft's last known communication point near the 7th arc. Although $70 million has been offered to Ocean Infinity
Yeah.
for the search, it's under a no
Yeah.
find, no fee agreement, meaning the company will only be compensated if significant wreckage is discovered. What's different this time? After 2 failed searches covering a much broader area, why is Ocean Infinity
they need
so
to figure out a way. They need to figure out a way to map the ocean floor faster. They need to map this ocean floor 10 times faster than they are right now. Like, if they could get satellites up in the air and like fucking ping sonars down to the ground and like it bounces back and like reshapes, like, I don't know, bro, but we need to come up with a system to map this shit faster, because this is taking too long. And like, by the time in 30 years, bro, that plane is going to be gone. It is going to be underneath the sea floor. It is going to be covered up. Like, that's just how it works.
confident
It's
it can
going to be
find the
gone.
missing plane.
The only way we find it is if we have some sort of like deep ground. Why did NASA quit exploring the ocean? Exactly. But like, why don't we have some sort of like penetration system to like figure out what the ground is scanning is metallic or not, like, and it goes into the ground, you know what I mean, like a good amount of meters or something, to figure out
Company plans to use
what the fuck is there.
autonomous technology,
Like,
AI-driven data
how have we not
analysis,
got there
and
yet?
refined search areas. Unlike previous efforts that relied heavily on ship-based sonar, this search will deploy
Like, this
a
is what I
fleet of
mean, like, why
Fusion
are we using
Infinity
ships and like
refined search areas?
we have all these
Unlike
people
previous
and like
efforts that relied
this just
heavily
seems
on
like a huge
ship-based
waste to me
sonar,
when we have
this search will deploy a fleet of
all
Fusion
this other
6000
technology,
autonomous
like-
underwater vehicles capable of
Maybe,
scanning
okay,
at
maybe it's
depths
the
of
it's the
6,000
range. Maybe
meters
it needs
with
to be a certain
high-resolution
distance off the
sonar
ground.
and
Maybe.
synthetic aperture radar. These
Of course, of
AUVs
course.
operate independently, covering vast
So if I go
areas
missing, you guys
faster
know
and
why.
more efficiently than traditional methods. Ocean Infinity's Armada fleet will also be deployed. These new 256-foot Armada 78 vessels only need 16 crew members, compared to the 40 or 50 required.
See,
on
like this, I
earlier
get.
search
Like they're
ships,
trying
allowing for a more substantial search
it.
while cutting down costs.
Cutting down costs, yeah.
In addition, Ocean Infinity plans
'Cause you're
to use
debunking shit.
unmanned vessels, which will be equipped with advanced sonar technology, all while being remotely controlled from Ocean Infinity's
Like, this is just too
headquarters in
time-consuming to
Southampton,
me.
England.
I don't know.
Operators will sit in gaming-like chairs and control pods, maintaining satellite communication with the autonomous vessels 8,000 miles
And like the thing
away.
with doing this too is it's like weather permitted. So like right now the search is called off and like it's supposed to be called back on here at the end of the year. And they're gonna continue to do this what you're seeing right here, like scan the ocean floor. But like, oh, there's gotta be a better fucking way to do this. Someone please come up with something.
Phase 1 of the search began on
Hey, by the FBI for debunking shit and one day you found out why and shit. That would be insane.
February 8th, 2025, when Ocean Infinity's Armada 7806 search vessel departed from Port Louis, Mauritius for the presumed crash site in the southern Indian Ocean. After a 15-day voyage across the Indian Ocean, Armada 7806 deployed its 3 AUVs and spent the next 3 days scanning an area of the seabed near the 7th Arc.
I'd be like,
Although
I knew
this
it.
region had been searched years ago, Ocean Infinity hoped that MH370 had sunk into a crevasse missed in previous searches. In the early hours of February 28th, Armada
buzzing all the different theories here at
7806
the end.
sailed toward Perth, Australia, to resupply and refuel after an initial search that yielded no discoveries. On March 6, 2025, Ocean Infinity departed from Perth for another seabed search. The current phase of the search is focusing on an area 30 to 50 nautical miles outside the 7th Arc, venturing into new territory labeled the Blel.
One thing I also want to say is, so if they think it crashed here, the ocean has a heavy current, and that bitch would have drifted. Now, is it drifting south, or is it drifting this way, or is it drifting this way? So when they, I'm gonna sound like a huge nerd right now because I've been going into this shit. But when the Titanic went down, it sent out a distress call to like the SS fucking, I can't even remember the name of the ship. And when it found it, it basically found it by chance because it was 15 kilometers away from its original ping because of the drift, because of the current. Now, I'm aware that in the Gulf of Mexico or America, whatever the fuck you want to call it, there is a very strong current there and it pulls you south towards like Cuba's direction because of just how it is underwater. There's like a big trench and it fucking pulls you. But like this, we don't know where it is, so we don't know where it drifted to, so we don't know. We literally have no idea. We're going off of like a ping that we could be there, could not be there. Missing some of the engine on the right side.
/ March Hand area.
How much shit is in the ocean floor? Like how much history, how much stuff is there, and we don't even know it's down there. Well, that's another thing too. Like Amelia Earhart, like no one knows what happened to her. I'm pretty sure her plane went into the ocean and they drowned, like her and her co-pilot. And the reason why they went down is because it was a communication error. It was like 1937. It was right before World War II. And they hadn't really come up with a proper way for planes and ships and all these things to fucking communicate with each other yet. And so they used like Morse code and like signals. And she had a fucking, I can't remember what the antenna is called, but it's like a circle and it sits on top of the plane. So when you point the plane in the direction of the ship that she was trying to land on, it would give her the ping so she would know where to land. But I guess because they were so high up and there was a frequency issue, she was on like 750 and the ship was on 7,500 or something like that, vice versa. And nobody knows what happened to her. They heard a transmission from her last and then that was it. They've never found a wreckage or they never found nothing. Like that's so fucked. So the plane drifted. 100%. If the plane landed, like, so if this plane landed on the top of the water, like coasting, like they think it did, it would have landed and sat there for a while, coasting on top, because it's kind of like that plane that went down a while back. What the hell is the name of it? It went down in New York. Was it the Hudson? Right? Am I tweaking here, or am I right on these facts? Yeah, that's right. Yeah, Hudson. Yep. Area of rescue, site of crash. Yeah, so it went down right in the river, right beside Manhattan. So obviously that's a little bit different. But just, it would have floated, and it would have, even if it stayed up for a while, like 20 minutes, an hour, because apparently when the Titanic was going down, it took like 3+ hours for it to sink, and it drifted 15 kilometers. Now, you got to think about mass, size, weight. That plane is way lighter and way more buoyant than that fucking boat when it was going down. So, it's gonna drift. Now, what I would be doing right now is figuring out these fucking currents in this area and see if there is an area where it speeds up, because that's where it's gonna go. That's where the plane is going to drift to, and then it's gonna go into that area, and then it's gonna sink. It's gonna sink fucking fast down, but it's gonna sink fast down, but not down. Like, it's gonna go like this, as if it was in the air. Like, that's how it would work, bro. It's
MH370 may have
I don't think people realize it's a fucking plane.
extending
Like,
its range and crashing just beyond
have
the
backup generators. Airplanes have multiple backup power sources for their electrical systems, including alternators on each engine and auxiliary. See, like, that
researched
makes
in
no sense.
2018. Based on their findings, they recommend a new search area approximately 38 nautical miles south of the 2018 search zone, covering about 600 square nautical miles. At this pace, Ocean Infinity is on track to surpass the originally planned 15,000 square kilometer search area. As the operation continues, experts and aviation enthusiasts around the world remain hopeful that this renewed effort will finally solve one of modern aviation's greatest mysteries. Progress can be tracked live online, keeping the world informed as the search for MH370 moves forward. As I mentioned at the beginning of this video, it's impossible to thoroughly discuss the mystery of flight MH370 without delving into speculation and conspiracy theories. While the general consensus among investigators is that MH370 crashed somewhere in the southern Indian Ocean, the exact cause remains unknown, as the wreckage has never been fully recovered, despite extensive searches by aviation experts and the use of advanced technology. As a result, various authors, aviation experts, and independent investigators have proposed their own theories about what happened to the flight. The most plausible theory is that the aircraft was under manual control by one of the crew on board.
These movements are consistent with deliberate action by someone on the plane.
In June 2014, reports identified the captain of Flight 370 as a prime suspect after investigators found a flight simulator at his home containing a route ending in the southern Indian Ocean. In 2016, the Malaysian government leaked documents confirming that the route had been recovered and analyzed. Many view this as evidence of premeditation, but investigators remain skeptical. The recovered data consists of 7 coordinates: 2 near Kuala Lumpur, 2 in the Strait of Malacca, 1 in the Bay of Bengal, and 2 in the southern Indian Ocean. The data was saved a month before the incident, but it remains unclear whether these points are from the same session. Some experts believe the flight path on the simulator matches that of MH150, a flight from Kuala Lumpur to Jeddah that Zahari flew a few weeks before the disappearance on February 4th, 2014. This could mean one of two things. Either the simulator data is unrelated to the disappearance of MH370 and is simply a flight Zahari routinely conducted on his simulator for his YouTube channel, or his original target was MH150. But for some reason, Captain Zahari switched to MH370, raising even more questions about his intentions and planning process before the flight's disappearance. Although the simulator
Who
data
is on
was
that
unclear,
plane?
the findings influenced search efforts. Investigators considered whether the plane glided after fuel exhaustion, extending its range by 200 kilometers, or if a controlled ditching occurred before fuel ran out, shortening it. If the captain did indeed divert the plane, his motive remains unknown. Zahari Ahmad Shah, 53, was married with 3 children, had over 18,000.
This is what I mean, man. It doesn't. I don't think he did it out of like terrorist intentions. I actually think he was forced to do this. I personally think he was forced to do this. Why the fuck else would somebody do something like this? You have 3 kids. You're like, even if you're like seriously depressed or like suicidal, like no one, like, this just doesn't make sense. Why? There's just no reason to do that. It doesn't, like, you know what I'm saying? Why the fuck would you take 239 other souls with you? That's fucked. It doesn't, like,
record.
It doesn't make sense. It'd be different if he had like a fucked up past, or like his wife came forward and said something about, you know, something that happened in his, like, just earlier in life. Like, that's what I mean. Like, either they threatened him or they blackmailed him, or they said, like, if you don't go put this plane down, we are going to like end your family, or, you know, unalive your family. You know what I mean? Like, it's
or mental health
I don't understand.
Suspicion
It just
also
doesn't make
surrounded
sense,
some of
dude.
the passengers. 2 Iranian passengers traveling on stolen passports initially raised hijacking concerns, but investigators soon found no links to terrorism. It was later revealed that the men were seeking asylum, not involved in any malicious activities. Similar suspicions were raised about the 20 Freescale semiconductor
this right here.
employees on board who may.
It makes powerful microchips for different sectors, including the defense industry. 12 employees from Malaysia and 8 from China. It led to speculation that they held important industrial secrets. In one conspiracy theory, the US government feared they would fall into the hands of these Chinese authorities. As a result, the plane was hijacked and taken to the US base on Diego Garcia.
Due to their involvement in sensitive technology projects. The theory suggests their disappearance may have been an attempt to prevent China or other powers from accessing this technology. Robert J. O'Neill, famous for killing Osama bin Laden, even suggested that it could have been a message to China, further supporting this theory. Some believe the plane never crashed, but was instead diverted to the U.S. naval base at Diego Garcia near the Maldives, where it was disassembled, and debris was later planted in the ocean to wash ashore. One piece of alleged evidence supporting this theory is a message supposedly sent by passenger Philip Wood. According to the claim, a message was posted online from Wood's phone.
Can we do another debunk video? I won't do another one today, but I'll do. I've been doing a lot of these types of shit. I'll do more for sure.
My flight was hijacked, blindfolded. I work for IBM, and I have managed to hide my cell phone in my rectum.
See, like this right here, I am held hostage by unknown military personnel after my flight was hijacked. I work for IBM, and I have managed to hide my cell phone. IBM is the company that was just on the thing right here, is that? No. What the fuck is IBM? Is that a... Isn't that like a bank or some shit? IBM... I'm gonna go back. Oh my. As one of the world's oldest and largest technology companies, IBM has been responsible for several technological innovations, including the automated teller machine, the ATM, dynamic random access memory, DRAM, the floppy disk. Oh, wow. Wow. What the fuck? Bro, what? IBM is the company that invented like fucking ATMs and like the floppy disk and shit. That's fucked.
And I have managed to hide my cell phone in my rectum. I have been separated from the rest of the passengers, and I am in a cell. My name is Philip Wood.
Philip Wood.
I think I have been...
We're gonna look this up. IBM executive Philip Wood, 50, originally from Texas, was one of 3 Americans on the plane. It was his last planned trip to Beijing before settling. He has 2 sons from a previous marriage. Holy fuck, man. I'm just going deeper and deeper down the rabbit hole. Should I really be doing this? So this was a text message that he said? Let's go back a little bit here.
A message was posted online from Wood's phone, allegedly stating, "I am held hostage by unknown military personnel."
On his phone. On Facebook? I'm guessing on Facebook, because this would have been in 2014 is when the plane was jacked, and I'm gonna guess it was probably, what day did it say it was posted?
Passenger Philip Wood. According to the claim, a message was posted online from Wood's phone, allegedly stating, "I am held hostage by unknown military personnel after my flight was hijacked, blindfolded. I work for IBM, and I have managed to hide my cell phone in my rectum. I have been separated from the rest of the..."
What is the phase allegations, and what are we looking into now? Because I like conspiracy theories. So we're kind of getting to the end of the video right now, but I'm going to be posting this on YouTube. So we're kind of just looking at the disappearance of MH370, and right now in the video, it's getting it all to the different theories. Now we've kind of gone over some different ones here, you know what I'm saying? So at this point, I would definitely say like aliens and wormhole are not really a thing. I think these are linked. I think these 2 right here are linked. Has nothing to do with the co-pilot. Bro was forced. The notes are crazy. Yo, we're locked, man. But I'm gonna continue this.
And I am in a cell. My name is Philip Wood. I think I have been drugged as well, but cannot think clearly. The image metadata supposedly contained GPS coordinates pointing to Diego Garcia. However, experts note that image metadata can be easily manipulated, and no official investigation has confirmed the authenticity of this message. A less far-fetched theory is that a fire occurred aboard MH370, which may explain why the...
So someone commented that I'm not even on YouTube or anything anymore. This is somehow a bit logical and somehow a bit isn't logical. First of all, I don't know how can that guy manage himself to contact us when it's clearly an unknown island. I mean, where did he get the connection signal? Second, for an iPhone or any Android's phone that time, it's not really logical for it to stay around that much time. And how can there be a charging port? You probably turned it off. And and of the not logical reason. So it's possibly on Diego Garcia because it got lost in somewhere near that. Second, I'm pretty sure what Prince Mead says it's right that they destroyed the plane so that there won't be any evidence that they got kidnapped. Third, like Prince Mead says, they can find a building on Mars, UFO, and aliens, but they can't find a big ass plane. That's why I'm looking into this, because it doesn't make fucking sense. Yeah, I have seen the story of DB Cooper. And we're getting pretty deep into this right now. Hang on there, bro. I'm coming to rescue you. I want to see the message. I want to see the post. So, can I go on to Google Earth? Do I have to download this shit? No, I do not. See? I'm telling you, bro. I should work for the fucking government. I'd be all over your guys' asses. Nobody's safe. All right. So now we need to copy these coordinates. I mean, realistically, I could probably fucking find it. Where the fuck is it? It's down. Is it around this side of the fucking globe? On this side? Or is it... Where the fuck is it? Oh my, it's really small. Holy shit. Yo, MC with fucking tier 1, bro. I appreciate you, man. Thank you. So, here we go. Here it is right here. So, Diego Garcia is the largest island of the Chagos archipelago. It has been used as a joint UK-US military base since the 70s. Huh. So, Phillips Wood's phone pinged from... where the fuck is it? Can I turn this? I should be able to turn this fucking thing. I cannot. It's gonna make this a little bit harder to figure out where this is. I gotcha! His phone pinged from this warehouse. Huh. Yeah. That's really fucked. I just want to see the actual message from the phone. Because, like, if he had that phone and only one phone and only that phone was connected to his Facebook account and he posted it, it's real. But what kind of phone is he using? Like, how do you just put a phone up your rectum and then... I just don't, like... Unless he's using like a... Like back then, it might have been like a super... We're on a watch list now. It might have been like on a smaller phone, maybe.
Plane divert.
Because bro worked for IBM. It could have been like a freaking... So I'm thinking, could maybe a work phone?
Multiple times.
I want to debunk so bad. What
Some
the fuck?
theorize that the shipment of lithium-ion batteries may have ignited a fire and caused a fire event. Such event happened in the past on UPS Flight 6 in 2010.
I don't think it was a battery. Nah,
the
nah.
crew reported smoke in the cockpit and declared an emergency. The fire spread quickly, causing a loss of control and visibility. The pilots attempted to return to Dubai, but were unable to land safely. The investigation concluded that the 81,000 lithium-ion batteries caused the fire. raising the possibility that a similar fire could have contributed to MH370's disappearance. Several years later, on April 1st, 2016, the International Civil Aviation Organization officially banned the bulk shipment of lithium-ion batteries on passenger aircraft. Sometime after the plane turned toward the Malaysian peninsula, there were unverified reports that U.S. military personnel in Thailand overheard an SOS signal from MH370, in which the pilot allegedly stated that the cabin was disintegrating and was going to attempt an emergency landing. This claim was reportedly passed to Malaysian authorities, but was never confirmed by official investigations.
Okay, another thing we need to search up is the MH370.
Days after the plane vanished, several alleged sightings were reported, which
Who was
coincide
on that
with its
plane?
flight path. British yachting enthusiast Catherine T. claimed to have seen a jumbo jet flying oddly low, glowing bright orange, with a trail of black smoke behind it, heading from north to south. Michael McKay, a worker stationed on an oil rig near Vietnam, reported seeing a sudden glow of fire above the horizon, which immediately caught his attention. Initially, he was unsure whether it was an aircraft or another light source. The next day, after learning that
Bro, there was a fucking 2-year-old on the plane and a fucking 3-year-old. And another 2-year-old. And a fucking 4-year-old. Oh my god, bro. That's so sad, man. Jesus.
MH370 was missing when it should have been flying across southern Vietnam toward Beijing, he
731. I don't know if I have,
unsuccessfully
actually.
to contact Malaysian and Vietnamese officials.
I don't know if I have.
McKay was reportedly fired from his job after speaking out about his sighting, though no official reason was publicly confirmed. One noteworthy event that may support the theory of a fire aboard the aircraft occurred when Flight 370 reached the southern end of Penang Island. During this stretch, First Officer Farik Abdul Hamid's cell phone registered.
This right here is the only actual known information that we have on somebody's phone pinging. As far as the whole Philip Wood thing, we don't actually know. Like, apparently his phone pinged from this warehouse, but this is all like speculation. But the thing is like, I don't even think this has been dug into. Like, they don't, like, why would it be? You know what I mean? Like, of course they're gonna say this is fucking fake.
Registered with a cell tower below, though no other data was transmitted.
I don't know.
For this to have occurred,
It's dark but really interesting. Heard
would have
that.
needed to be within range of a cell phone tower at an altitude between 7,000 and 10,000 feet. Many experts believe the pilot may have descended to this altitude due to a fire or sudden loss of cabin pressure, as this is standard protocol in such emergencies. To further support this theory, in March 2014, a mysterious object washed ashore on Bara Island in the Maldives. Initially feared to be a bomb, the Maldives National Defense Force investigated and determined it was not an explosive device, but an empty fire suppression bottle from an aircraft. A fire suppression bottle is a safety device used in aircraft to extinguish fires in critical areas, such as the engines or cargo compartments. It
Heard that.
contains a fire
Human 731
extinguishing
is responsible
agent.
for large-scale biological and chemical warfare research as well as leads to human experimentation. Bro, what the fuck? Really? So another one of these types of situations, like it was shot down, or... Is that the one that was shot down by Russia? No?
Typically Howland 1301
Jesus, man.
or
How many
bromide,
fucking planes have been
which is
shot down in the
released
last
when a
10
fire
years?
is detected.
What the
However,
fuck?
there was no further analysis of the object after the initial assessment, and its potential connection to Malaysia Airlines flight MH370 remains unverified. A less speculative possibility is that Flight 370 did not fly in a straight line after its final turn toward the southern Indian Ocean. In early 2018, a team of independent investigators proposed an alternate flight path, suggesting that an attempted land on Christmas Island may have led to a crash site much further north than the area identified by the official investigation. While a surface search of this region was conducted about a week after the disappearance, the underwater phase never extended that far north. As of now, the disappearance of Flight 370 remains a mystery. We'll have
That's what Japan did on Chinese people when they invaded China. Oh, when did this happen? Sure. Post the video of it in the Discord if you're in it, bro.
to wait and
That's
see
usually how
if
I
this
get
renewed
some of these
search can
videos.
finally solve the mystery and bring closure to all the families of the passengers on MH.
No kidding, man. God rest all of those people's souls, bro. I actually hope this plane is found and they finally get some closure at some point. I don't care if it's in 10 years, 20 years. I just hope it's in their lifetime so they can at least find out what happened to them, because that's really sad, man. Yeah. I don't even really know what else to say on that, bro. I think we kind of did enough debunking. The Diego Garcia one, I don't know, bro. That one's I feel like that's one of those conspiracies there that are like up there with like, I don't know, 9/11 being done by the government and shit. But I would very much like to see the text message or whatever. Like if you can see the actual message and you can like if they, I don't know why nobody figured out if it came from the phone or not. Like what? What the fuck? So weird, bro. It's definitely strange. In what channel? In the React. There's like a socials and content tab. Drop it in the React. Drop it in the React section, bro. Yeah, I don't really have anything else to say, man. I'm trying to think. Is there anything else that I'm trying to think of? You ever think about how society is inherently based on an honor system and you can just do whatever you want with no consequence? Yeah, pretty much, yeah. Oh, shit. A little hydration. Yeah, I don't even really know what else to say on that subject. That's really fucked. Cheers. Yeah, the only other thing, like, here, I'll bring the sticky note back up, but we gotta conclude the segment here. So we definitely confirmed that it was not the co-pilot. Oh shit. The notes, yeah, bro. We got to get the notes out, man. Come on. God damn. Can you full screen this fucking thing? File, edit, view. Can I not? I don't think I can. I was gonna try to full screen Google Earth, but I don't think it's gonna work. The Vault 7 theory. I feel like I have. Or like very vaguely. I wanted to try to put Google Earth as the background, but it doesn't want a full screen. What if I do like Control F or some shit? No, that didn't work. No, show. I can't see dick. The SpongeBob theory. They go crazy. So I was gonna go 1, 2. Actually, no, let's not do that. Let's like this. So Copilot definitely didn't do it. I want to say it wasn't shot down. And it wasn't it wasn't actually hijacked by terrorists. That's a fact. These are facts, because like if it was shot down, the flaperon would have been burnt. Watch another oh my god. Okay, we might have to. The co-pilot honestly just wouldn't have had enough hours to know the borders. So like that's my other thing. Like there's just no way, man. You need time and a lot of hours to know when to radio and blah blah blah. It definitely wasn't hijacked by terrorists. Nobody's smart enough to do that unless you have 18,000 flight hours and know literally every button on that fucking dash and what everything does. There was another video. I'm not actually gonna watch it. I just want to see if I can find the clip of it. Oh shit, my bad. I didn't realize I didn't have my face cam still up. Here we go. So, you know what I'm saying? We got it all crossed out here. Just to, you know, verify our analysis. There's one more thing I was gonna say. Vault 7 theory. Heard that. Oh yeah, we'll check that out in a sec here. There was just one more thing I wanted to look at. I'm not gonna... I'm sure some of you guys have heard of her. Her name is Candace Owens. I'm not like saying I'm a fan or I'm a fucking fanboy or some shit. But there's a clip on her YouTube where she talks about the plane, and they have a fucking they have a clip of the plane in the air. I just want to show y'all the clip. I'm not going to say anything else. Explaining.
This bubble produced. This guy theorized about it in 1990. That's the overwhelming majority of people in society who don't excel.
Reviewing the footage.
In math or science.
Okay, here it is right here.
The day the plane was lost, they said that the plane was...
What the fuck?
It's like...
Why is it... Hide the taskbar, bro.
Do your work.
There we go.
Explain how this is not possible, you know? And then back to the original point, it's like, okay, well...
or something else, we need to go deep in the government theories. So, this is from Candace Owens' podcast, I guess you could say, on YouTube. Like, again, I'm not a fan or anything like that. I'm just using this as an example.
You can't explain these videos to the public, especially not in 2014. Probably not even in 2024, to be honest. Because this is some technology that people are not ready on this world to accept. And I don't believe that those orbs are...
So basically he's saying that potentially another country is using like these orbs, I guess, and they like fly around the plane, and I'm trying to find the fucking clip of where it... I just had it. Was it not right there? The fuck? There was another one. Where did it go? Where did it go? This is a very long video, so it could very well be right... What the fuck? Anonymous letter going high, discovering. Wait, what the fuck? Maybe it's right here. Reviewing the footage. Ah, here we go. I found it. Finally. Jesus, I'm sorry. So, I don't think they're saying that this is the plane, but they're basically saying that this technology is out there and it is a thing. And this is what I'm saying by, like, I don't think we realize, like, I think there's more out there than we think. And yeah. So it's almost like they're like, it's like powering up in a way. And then DZ jet.
So this is one of these exercises that I
So
people.
yeah, that's basically another theory is, I wouldn't even say that's like aliens or wormhole. That's more like just, dude, I don't even know. That's like some crazy advanced technology that we don't even like have the minds of capable of even understanding what it is. Unless it's some like gnarly secret government mission.
Cause in terms
How
of
the government hides and controls info, how the science explains,
Effectively all have ADHD.
discovering who
you might
leaked,
say you can never talk about this, otherwise we can put you back in prison
exactly
again.
right.
classified info.
This is why people ask me why.
You get into
you've
First
done-
Amendment trouble with that, though.
Yeah, yeah, and that's why, like, so what I did was I reached out to his lawyers, and
wow, I love how
Defense Minister Strange.
save that for another day.
I wish I could fucking read all this.
You know, that thought was always in the back of everyone's mind 10 years ago when.
Yeah, I guess we could just end. We'll end the segment there, yo. I don't really know what else to say, to be honest. Like, I wonder if that plane is ever gonna get found, dude. Because Jesus, this is apparently one of the most hostile places in the world in terms of like the sea and all that shit, which I also was not aware of. But yeah, I guess we just comes down to the three, man. The pilot was obviously the one that did everything. That is a fucking given. But as far as the other two, I feel like, why would the plane get fucking TP'd to Narnia like that if the pilot didn't know, you know? Like, I feel like that doesn't make sense. That one just doesn't make sense.